Dawn on the second day. Temperature, 62 degrees.
Do we need three of you?
Yes, sir. You have to get it in trouble.
Nancy Jane Smith, popular singer and composer. Age 19.
I understand that the defendant does not wish to have you as a counselor. Is that true?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. She wishes to defend herself.
You wish to stay? All right.
How do you feel?
My hands, my fingers are numb.
I'm afraid of my feet, Dave.
I was so cold I threw up.
Did you hear the patrol cars during the night?
We heard them in the distance, but they didn't come near us.
Well, I'd like to know something. I want to find out a little bit more about you. You were arrested for assaulting a police officer. What'd you do to him?
I was trying to keep him from arresting me.
The songs that she composes are of a seditious nature. She advocates the overthrow of the government in many of her songs. One of them I'll read right now. Evidence, Nancy Smith, sedacious literature. Santa Claus is coming with a bag of bombs and guns. Santa Claus is here, the revolution has come. Grab a handful, dip in quick. Grant the slogan, make it stick. Right on, baby. Get yours and fight like crazy. We can win. Blow up buildings, watch them fall for hours that we spend standing in the hall.
Oh.
You're a real revolutionary,
No.
Doris.
I've
Bet
got
your
some
mother
others,
and father are proud of you, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Juvenile stuff.
I'd like to hear you sing one.
Celibate ass lickers, riding cars made of gold, taken from the poor, they've gathered to their fold. Father Pig leads a flock of sheep. Father Pig makes ready for the slaughter. Celibate snatchmen know rhythm is the way. Poor ladies get the babies, but Father Dick has the say.
I don't want to hear
You know what
any
snatch
more.
is? You know what snatch is?
I don't
You
have
even
to
know
be
what's-
insulted
how
by
can you
this
understand? You don't know
little
the words I
gutter
say.
snipe.
Through the psychiatric evaluation of the prisoner, these songs do show neurotic and schizophrenic tendencies.
Is that your opinion, dummy?
No, here's what I'm interested in. You came from a wealthy family. I would assume you had the best of things that this country has to offer people. Now, why are you turning against the country?
My parents taught me to think, and my parents gave me certain values of honesty and,
Taught you to think. And taught
Yeah,
you
that's
to
why I'm
tell
here.
people to throw bombs, too?
No. They taught me to think, and they gave me a certain set of moral values. They don't have anything to do with sex, lady.
Moral values.
I still have all of them quite intact.
And what about the songs you write?
What
Do
about
you
'em?
call those moral?
Yeah, I call them moral. I call them a lot more moral than what you're doing sitting right there.
Well, you,
Fuck off.
you don't want to talk about your background.
Language.
Why should I watch my language?
You don't want to talk about it.
Fuck off. That's all I gotta say to you,
What's your
idiot.
language, defendant?
Oh, shut up.
Listen.
What do you think I care what you tell me to do? You're gonna kill me in a little while, old
Stop
man.
that language. That's
Why?
part of all the other moral crap.
Moral crap?
Yes.
You said crap!
Yes, you make me say
said
crap.
crap.
You make me very
Shoot that
angry.
woman.
I can't
She
stand
said
people
crap.
like you that go around
Sit down,
destroying our
defendant.
system. Now, what you're doing to the children of this
What
country,
I'm doing
yes,
to-
what you are
I'm
doing, you
doing to
make
the
me
children-
sick. You're a crazy girl. You ought to be
make-
locked up.
I make you
Yes.
locked up. Why should I be locked up when you shoot
Because
me?
you're a schizophrenic. You're
I'm a-
cuckoo.
Miss Smith, I'd like to remind you that your violent overthrow of the government, financially rewarding songs, really gives you a peculiar kind of freedom, a freedom to have your lovins, a freedom to have your pot. Tell me, what is your philosophy of government? What do you believe in?
I would take every single man that isn't in this country, that's in a uniform in another country where he doesn't belong, and bring him back home and take him out of his uniform and put him back in the world. I would take every single prisoner out of their cages and put him back in the world. I would take every single hungry person and feed him. I would take every single rich person and take away their money. I would take every single person that's sick and tired of working jobs like on the auto lines and things like that, and just work for years and years for nothing and never getting ahead. Where people in colleges, I had to quit school because I got so fucking paranoid, because after Kent State, I realized that I could put on a cheerleader sweater and a I Love America pin, and the people that were shooting weren't even aiming, and it wouldn't do me any good. I could walk out of a classroom and be on my way to lunch and get killed just as easily as I was in the front line of a barricade in a demonstration. Do you have any children?
Yes, I have.
How many children do you have?
And you've tried to get into the mind of some of my children, haven't
Lady,
you?
your children were brainwashed by watching Donna Reed and Father Knows Best, not by me. By the time they listened to me, they were past their formative years. How many children?
I have
you-
3
You have
children.
3 children. How would you feel if one of them died?
I'd feel terrible.
course has now been in progress 24.5 hours.
Let us get back to the charges, and these are very serious charges, and I'll read them again.
I have a charge to make against you.
What? The first
I have a
is
charge to make against
advocating
you,
the violent
old man.
overthrow of the
You
US
old,
government.
sick man.
2, conspiracy to incite to
How many
riot,
kids
which
have you
means
left
leading
to the slaughter?
young
How many kids are out there
to-
now? Who's getting killed by the guns that I hear go off? How many children? How many children have been through these tribunals? No!
How many
children have you killed? Who's dying right now? Do
You sent those kids out there. Nancy Smith,
I sent those kids out there. Who's died? Who's dead? That was sitting right here. Do you know? Do you care? You didn't put them out there. You sat here, and with all the arrogance in the world, all the arrogance.
I don't have to listen to that
Putting
stuff.
your words back into your mouth and you don't even hear
Cut
them.
it out! Cut it out!
You have no real way of running anything. You're a phony.
Don't you dare talk
lady.
to me like that.
Don't you
There's no
dare
question
kill
about
me.
this girl being a definite communist threat to this nation.
Each member of this group is now lacking about 2 quarts of body water.
I believe in destroying everything that you stand for and destroying everything that you're trying to do. Yes. I'm complaining. I have the right to complain.
Defendant,
about
sit
what you're
down.
gonna do to me.
Restrain the
You're gonna
defendant.
kill me. You're gonna put a bullet.
Well, basically, we've found ourselves in a situation where we had what we thought was the entire group of militants pinned down and called upon them to surrender. They did not do so, and you see the consequences of their decision.
Silence the defendant! Silence the defendant!
Senator, this is what I was getting at before. See, you may have kids or something and know what they're like to grow up and everything. I've got a couple of young kids. How are you going to raise them?
We have at least 1, probably 2 more running around.
What do you plan to do now?
Well, we have this gun. We'll try to find a place in the high ground and wait for them. And if they don't come, we'll get out.
Of course, we know we'll get them.
It's like this whole fucking game is like a revolution, and we're in it.
If we don't get them, the desert will.
And we've got to either win or we've got to die.
Where was he hit? Looked like close to the body. Back of the neck. Stuff of individual. I don't much care where they're hit, just so they're hit.
And if we do win, we're gonna wreck this fucking establishment and we're gonna wreck this fucking game.
They don't understand what's going on in this country, the national emergency. They have no idea, no loyalty, no understanding. And they respond with violence.
You know what the hell they're doing? They're not that
And the
dumb.
words in her songs, did you hear that? Throw bombs, blow up, kill, kill. And who do they kill? Innocent people. And then she drives the kids here and then she says, we did it.
Temperature 98 degrees.
One of the main reasons for having punishment park in the first place is because of the fact that with the type of crime that we have being committed today, the civil crime and the social crime both, we're filling up our prisons faster than we can build new facilities.
Wait, I think we have just a discussion.
Watch this hand.
Who looks good?
I don't think
All these people are just
Senator Harris.
Yes, sir.
May we ask you what you feel about your duty on the board today? What do you feel about disciplining of young people, for example?
Well, I think a number of these young people remind me of a situation I even had at home. I think it was one of my own daughters. I think for about a year we had quite a difficult time with her. She just didn't believe that there would be any kind of discipline at home, and we sort of worked that thing out.
May I ask you how you worked it out?
Well, I kept punishing her, and she kept responding until finally, after the year was up, we worked it out quite well. You know, you've got to remember that these children of ours today are much like skilled and trained, highly bred horses, you know. They're trained to go around that track, but then you've got to sort of hold them in, because if you let the reins out, why, after all, they'll just run around that track without any control at all.
Well, we do get a few oddballs before this tribunal, especially that one wouldn't kill a fly. He said he'd take one of these cups and catch the fly and take it outside and and let it free. He's probably a 1A now, or in Indochina, I believe. I wouldn't know.
You know, I'll tell you the truth, I'd rather be a lot more places than in the desert. I have a wife and family back home, and I guess, you know, there's certain things you have to do for your country, but all the abuse you have to take, and just seeing these characters having no respect for this country, and it's difficult. We sit there, we try and give them a chance to have a fair say, but they just don't seem to appreciate it.
It's a very difficult job to do. It really is. But somebody has to do it, you know. We do our best.
What would you do if one of your own children appeared before you on the tribunal?
Oh, my God. No, my kids wouldn't do that. They really wouldn't. They've been trained differently.
I see a running pattern of paranoia in these youngsters.
This may sound funny, but it isn't funny. I think there should have been more spank and less Spock in America, and our youth wouldn't be what they are today.
These are political criminals. They are not social criminals. These are political criminals. They have to be shown that their way is wrong. We cannot show them that their way is wrong by killing them, by building gas chambers, or by setting up machine gun bunkers and firing them and covering them over with bulldozers. This is not the way we would like to operate.
What's wrong? Oh, fuck!
Fuck!
Oh.
Let's get going.
Get the fuck out of here.
We're going where?
Let's try to make it to the flag.
How in the hell are we gonna make it somewhere? We don't have no water!
There's no water that way.
They're just playing with your mind until they kill you.
What would your forefathers have done, Mr. Calder, if during the Revolution they were all conscientious objectors?
The majority of my forefathers were conscientious objectors. It would include the people from England, too. And in that case, they would have been acting justly towards the people in the colonies.
James Arthur Kohler,
Wouldn't have had to have a
pacifist,
war or anything else
age
anyway.
20.
Probably wouldn't have been over here killing the Indians if they were acting justly and conscientious objectors.
Tell me, Mr. Calder, are you aware of the crisis in this country? How deeply do you feel about the present crisis of the nation, of the world at large, and the responsibility that we have to this crisis? What responsibility do you have as a citizen to this country?
My responsibilities as a citizen in this country do not include killing for it.
Then I'm not going any further.
They want us to try and break out. They want us to become violent. They want us to be like them.
I'm not gonna go that way. I'm not gonna let them play games with me anymore.
Hey, anyone that wants to come with us, come on.
They've been
Murder.
playing games with you for years.
Listen, they want to blow your brains out. Really,
How
you
did they
get
gonna-
out there, they're going to kill you. Straight and
They're
simple.
gonna kill you before
that's
they kill
it.
us.
See
that? That's what'll kill us. Games like that.
Are you familiar with St. Thomas Aquinas?
Yes, I am.
I think he had this to say about a just war. He laid down a proviso for a just war, and he said this, I think, that the war must be decided upon a legitimate authority, and secondly, that its objective must be to vindicate justice, and that thirdly, it must be waged with a just intent. Now, this was during the 12th century, before this present time, and he understood what a just war meant. Can't you understand that the policy in Indochina that we're in is even justified by a 12th century philosopher?
Senator, those provisos came from St. Augustine originally. And St. Augustine had a fourth proviso, which just shows the total absurdity of considering any war just. Is that a war must be waged under the control of a loving disposition, that no man is fit to inflict punishment until he has banished hate from his heart.
Temperature 109 degrees. Distance to the United States flag 27 miles.
Defendant, I take it from your philosophy you're opposed to slavery. Is that right?
Yes, I am.
And the Civil War was fought to free the slaves.
No,
That
it
was a
wasn't.
just war.
Speak up, will you?
It wasn't fought to free the slaves, and it wasn't a just war.
It was a just war because the black people themselves fought for freedom. Would you have fought on the side of the black people to gain their freedom in that war? Because
Black people haven't gained their freedom. What do you think that's happening right now is all about?
We know from our records that there are only a handful of black militants that are running the so-called People's Army. It does not represent the community. You are trying to overthrow the government with a handful of people that...
Charles Robbins, member of the People's Army, age 25.
Martin Luther King was opposed to your violence. And you're talking about a people's army when you're only a handful.
To deal with the thing in terms of what you call black militants, and dealing with the trying to overthrow the government, the thing is, what we're trying to save people because the government is overthrowing itself. My loyalty is to the people. You know, I feel that people are the most important thing, and that people have been left out while cats that run this country have just moved and shitted all over them. Can you dig?
That you dwell on the black problem.
Well, it's quite obvious because I'm black.
It so happens that I,
you
I
say
have
you
been
love
in the
your
ghettos of
country.
Washington, D.C., and I have seen the schools in the ghettos, and we are trying to educate, and yet you're trying to take over our programs? Is that what you're trying to offer us, some of our own programs?
No, the thing is, we don't want to take over your programs. We don't want to be bothered with your programs because we know your programs are very corrupt.
You believe you're a separatist or a racist? Which?
I'm neither. I'm an internationalist.
You have no chance in hell going the way you're going.
2 surviving members of Corrective Group 637
Let that man go.
have seized a West German sound technician as hostage.
We're trying to save the people.
What are you going to try to save people?
Through massive education. We believe in education through example. We have very functional programs. Example, right on.
What example are you? You're a
No.
revolutionary. What
And your newspaper
example do you
shows
set for your
a
people?
black militant with a gun, shoot the pigs, shoot the pigs.
I believe in this, and it's simple and quite plain, that when fired upon, I believe in firing back.
1, 2, shoot! 3.
Get the bitch. It's just a matter of staying alive.
It's like a game they're playing with us. You either win or you die.
Pigs are running madly through our community, slaughtering off our children and our women. And the truth in America is that America is a sick society. America is full of motherfuckers who have shitted on people who have...
afraid to die?
No, I'm not afraid to die. That's quite obvious.
Why are you people leading your people into the mass hysteria? When I walk through Washington, D.C., asking questions why they were right.
Hey, man, you're
they said that
always
they
in
were...
Washington, D.C. You're always in Washington, D.C., but you ain't doing nothing in Washington, D.C. Matter of fact, you out here in California right now.
That's right.
Sit on a committee that is supposed to be from this particular area, you know, but you're not even from this area because you spent most of your time in Washington, D.C. How come you're not in Washington, D.C. relating to the problems
Does that
in
make
Washington,
me a
D.C.?
pig?
No, I'm not going to have to call you a pig because you know what you are better than I do. What are you talking about, a mad dog? Define what... Would you like for me to define what a politician is? A politician is nothing but a debater. All that you do is debate issues, you fat pig, you meathead. That's all that you are because you a lying sucker. You lying to the camera. You lying to your mama. You lying to everybody. But every time I hear you open up your mouth, all I hear is
Quiet.
you pig. That's
Quiet,
all I hear.
defendant.
Quiet. You know, because you ain't got no humanity in you because you're a pig. You lying punk.
Restrain the
That's all that you are.
defendant.
Oh,
Restrain the defendant.
Mr. Chairman.
Shut him up. Shut him up. Gag him. Shut him up. Defense counsel. Shut him up.
What seems quite clear now is that instead of trying to bring the estranged and excluded Americans, such as these people, back into the national community, the administration has chosen to accept and exploit the present division within the country and to side with what it considers as the majority. Instead of a politics of reconciliation, it has chosen a politics of polarization.
Have you discussed what you'll do if you have to leave him, or will you try and take him with you?
We've never thought about it.
Here, okay, I'll take it for a while. Morning, on the 3rd day.
Yeah, I've got time to waste. Let's go. Come on.
When the human body has suffered a dehydration of between 6 to 10%, it experiences dizziness, difficulty in breathing, decreased blood volume, indistinct speech, and finally, an inability to walk.
Distance to the United States flag, 23 miles.
Listen, I'd like to know about this business of violence on the campus. I'd like to know why you people do these things. Where you know, a lot of us work hard for a living to build those schools and pay taxes and build these universities for our kids to go to and so on. And you people come along and just burn them right down.
Mr. Reynolds,
Yes.
do you want to make a
Start
speech or
riots
do
and
you want to answer your question?
You'll get a
Just a
chance,
minute,
defense
Mr.
counsel.
Daly. Listen, students don't burn buildings down, okay? That's
What do you mean?
just
I see it on
a
television all the
myth.
time.
It's just a sensationalized myth, you know, brought about by the press.
Oh, I don't see it on
Intentional
TV?
students don't burn buildings down, and besides, I don't advocate violence.
Alison
I'm a serious
Michener,
political
radical organizer of women's unions, co-founder of the National Committee Against War and Repression,
change anything, and
age
I don't think
23.
it does any good. It's a waste of time. You know, you try to destroy the Bank of America, you try to break in a window or something like that, they can build it right up. They have the money, they have the power. That's not the way you change things.
Luckily, I'm glad I'm here. Some of the guys gotten pretty upset since the deputy incident the other day. And I'm afraid they're going to shoot first and ask questions later.
Have you actually heard some of the men say that?
Oh yeah, they've really gotten paranoid.
I think that people become violent when they are deprived of their basic human needs. I think that they become violent when that is their only alternative to achieving the satisfaction of those needs. A major component of our democratic society comes from the preamble to the Constitution, which states that an individual is guaranteed the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? The rights to life. And it seems paradoxical to me that a nation with such ideals and such economic power still cannot fulfill, or seems unwilling to fulfill, basic human needs of food, clothing, and shelter.
The decoy seems to have worked very well. It's brought them out in the open. They reached the decoy.
A country with this kind of economic power and those kind of ideals still, at this point, can't feed 11 million people, and that's according to a government survey.
Your participation in the course is terminated.
Temperature 111 degrees.
Still can't feed 11 million people, still can't clothe those people, even though they're producing those kinds of things in overabundance. Now, why is that? And now if you have someone who can't get food stamps and who can't get on welfare and who is starving, that kind of person has two alternatives, right? He or she can either sit there and watch his children starve, or he can go out and fight for what he needs.
Stop where you are. Sit down, cross your legs, and keep your hands behind your head. Stop where you are. Sit down where you are. Cross your legs and put your hands behind your head. You are under arrest.
I think they can't hear you.
Stop where you are. Stop. Stop where you are. Stop. Sit down. Go back or I shall be shoot to kill.
I don't think they can hear you. Just a minute.
Get back. There seems to be some confusion here. Get back out of the way. Stop where you are. Stop. Sit down.
Now come on, slow up. They can't hear you.
Sit down where you are.
Sit down.
Sit down.
Sit down. He can't.
Sit down.
He can't. Gosh. Jesus, oh my God. Fuck.
Get.
Stop. Christ, there's another one. Get the guns.
Dear Lord, we pray for Harold.
Violence is inherent in this society. You don't seem to understand that.
Now, you fucking bastards. Get out of here!
Like the movement went through a long kind of history and was very reluctant to make any kind of radical changes. It was very reluctant to become violent. But we saw that the government would only make changes when we did become violent. Had to come down and intervene when we were trying to register voters who were
Yes,
Mississippi.
violence, Mr. Chairman. I think that we should realize the dangerous extent to which the violence of the students...
You wish to floor defense counsel?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Then get up.
I think that we should realize the dangerous degree to which the violence of the students is now being overplayed, and the violence of the establishment is being deliberately minimized.
no
you
one
are trying to put radicals on trial as scapegoats for the problems which stem from your own system.
It's rather appropriate. Harold was a poet. There's no place for a poet in this culture.
It's so hard to have any hope about anything. Though after you see how completely inhuman people can be.
We must draw this cross-examination to a close.
There is no need to do that. You know, like I'm sitting here chained in the chair, and you don't need to send these people you train to behave like mad dogs.
I have a very important part of the hearing to talk to you about. The amnesty.
I don't even know what's important, Mr. Chairman.
The amnesty provision,
really sick of all
and
this.
I want to read it to you. Your signing of a voluntary pledge of loyalty that you will not again participate in any form or manner of extra-legal or subversive political activity, and that you will not again hinder state or federal authorities in matters relating to safeguarding of the national security.
I am loyal to the people of this country, Your Honor, or whatever it is your title is. I am not loyal to the government, because the government is against the people.
No! Hands behind your head! Come out! Don't shoot them! Don't shoot them! They're all right! They're all right! Tell them not to shoot! They're all right! Tell that fucker not to shoot! Tell them not to shoot! Don't shoot! We don't have any guns! Tell that nigger put his hands up where I can see him! Fuck you! Just tell them not to shoot! Shut up, window! Shut up! Come on! There's a camera crew here! I don't give a fuck who's there. Come on, ease up, ease up. Murder! Put your hands behind your head.
They're just waiting to kill us!
Take pictures of this! They're gonna kill us! Take pictures of it! Watch out!
I think there is a chance for some people to make it through this course, and I think we're going to do it. All we have to do is not lose hope and keep on going.
You got it.
We don't have any guns!
Watch them! Please, watch them! Don't leave! Come on! Sheriff Edwards, leave them! Come
The
on!
only choice is whether to submit to this self-destruction passively or violently.
Don't hurt them!
That's the only choice I see.
Fucking liar! You shot us in the back! Keep back now!
So you feel that, just as you feel that there's a reason for going on through the course, you feel that this is the same way to try and deal with what you feel is wrong with the system in America?
I think that's right. Yes, I think if you play it by the rules of the people who set up the game, even though they're stacked against you, it's the only way to possibly win the game.
Don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that! Don't get out! You goddamn motherfucking weekend warriors! You killer! Oh God! You killer, motherfucker! Oh God! Oh Christ! Motherfucker! You murderer! Cut! Cut him! Kill him! Oh God! Leave him alone! Leave him alone! It was an accident! It was an accident! Put that fucking rock down, boy! Cut the camera! Cut the camera! Shoot!
But I feel very little hope for us.
I don't see any hope either way. It's just simply a matter of what you believe in. Either you believe in nonviolence or you don't, and if you do, many times there's only one path left to you, and you have to take that, no matter what it means to you.
Oh, come on, help these people! Help these people! Help them! Help them! That one's dead. That one's dead. Oh, you fuckers! You fuckers! You shitty fucking cunts! Got one left alive, huh? Fucking idiots. Well, they had the fucking... We've seen this! We've seen this! We've seen this! That's fine. Officer Edwards, we've seen this! I don't give a flying fuck. We've seen this! This is going on NBC! We've seen this! I don't care if you take it and jam it in your ass! You murdering bastard! You fucking bastard!
As soon as you get through with your little hysterics, we can go on with the procedure.
Hysterics, mates. You wait till you see yourself on television.
I've been on TV before. I'm not worried about it.
Not like this, you haven't. Not like this, you haven't.
Captain, shall I call for the ambulances? Fuck the goddamn damage. Just let the buzzard get the son of a bitches. We'll let him get him, too.
They threw rocks and...
This man shook up.
I was just...
Leave him alone.
The gun went off. It was an accident. I didn't want to kill anyone.
We want to know why you killed two people.
Just leave him alone. I don't know. It was an accident.
You mean you didn't mean to kill them?
No, I didn't want to kill anyone.
You didn't want to kill
No!
anyone, but you shot
No!
people.
No!
But there are two people.
No, I didn't want to kill anyone. It was an accident.
You shouldn't be
No!
Hey,
hey! It was a...
Leave him alone. Leave him alone.
I didn't want to kill anyone. It was an accident.
Let him go.
How old is this kid? How old is he?
He's 18.
Well, what the hell's a kid like that doing in the National Guard if he can't use weapons?
He's trained to use them.
Trained to use him? You mean?
Well, what do you expect with all those men throwing rocks at him?
You mean he's trained to kill people?
Yes, he is.
Well,
to defend his own country.
You mean he's trained?
He's trained to defend his country.
You mean he's trained to kill unarmed people like that?
How would you feel if someone started throwing rocks at you?
You keep saying it's an accident, but
It was
there's
an
two
accident.
people right
They were throwing rocks, and the gun just went off. I didn't know what happened.
But what are you going to say to their parents?
Come on, soldier, let's go. Come on, let's go.
President Nixon in San Clemente, California, today sent a telegram for reading at the Artist Variety Show. The chief executive told the artists, "We Americans are known throughout the world as forward-looking people." The president said, "The United States is in fact the symbol of progress, of hope, and of just and orderly growth."
7 flights of B-52 bombers hit guerrilla infiltration routes along the Cambodian border north of Saigon today.
The afternoon of the following day.
This has been a session marred by continual disruptive outbursts and direct defiance of judicial authority by the defendants and defense counsel. Outbursts in the form of constant murmurs. This disruption is a further example of what I've been referring to. Outbursts in this form, Marshal, you'll restrain the prisoner if he makes any more outbursts. Outbursts in the form of constant murmurs, snickering, and derisions, shouting, profanity, and abuse. No record, no matter how skillfully transcribed, we'll have quiet here, can adequately portray the venom, sarcasm, and tone of voice employed by a speaker. This has been a session marked by guffaws, cheap theatrics, and other affectations used by the defendants in an attempt to break up these proceedings. But despite these outbursts, these proceedings have been conducted with impartiality and objectivity as called for by the extreme seriousness of the circumstances on hand.
Just turn and move. Turn and move.
These proceedings, furthermore, have been conducted before a nationwide television audience in an attempt to clarify for the American people the issues at stake as an object lesson for others who may be considering the willful and tragic path taken by the defendants who stand before us. Defense counsel, do you have anything to say as to why I should not now proceed with the sentencing?
Ladies and gentlemen of the tribunal, I would like to read you something. The streets of our country are in turmoil. The universities are filled with students rebelling and rioting. The communists are seeking to destroy our country. Russia is threatening us with her might. And the Republic is in danger. Yes, danger from within and without. We need law and order, or our nation cannot survive. We might all be forgiven for supposing those to be the words of our president. But they are not. Those words were uttered in 1932 by Adolf Hitler.
Sieg motherfucking Heil!
And we know what kind of law and order followed in that country. You ask me if I have anything to say to show cause now why sentence shouldn't be passed. Other than that, these are young people with all of life before them, full citizens of the United States of America, to whom the Constitution and the Bill of Rights apply. No, I can't think of anything.
Bastards.
That's it.
We're here.
That's the flag.
We've done it.
We made it. We made it. What are they doing?
Lee Robert Brown, 15 to 21 years in federal penitentiary. J. Kaufman, 15 to 21 years in a federal penitentiary. William Luke Valerie, 7 to 10 years in a federal penitentiary. Nancy Jane Smith, 7 years in a federal penitentiary. James Arthur Kohler, 5 to 7 years in a federal penitentiary. Mary Ellen Mitchner, 7 to 10 years in a federal penitentiary. Charles Robbins, life imprisonment.
What's happening?
Stop right now and no harm will come to you. I don't care how far you've cut, you better stop. Stop where you are and no harm will come to you.
We made it. Bob!
Lee Robert Brown, which do you choose? The 15 to 21 years of Punishment Park. Punishment Park, so recorded. J. Kaufman, 15 to 21 years in the federal penitentiary of Punishment Park.
Hey, leave him alone. Stop that.
Why don't you just turn us loose right here? Why don't you just fucking turn us loose right here?
J. Kaufman, 15 to 21 years in the federal penitentiary or Punishment Park.
Punishment Park, and I'm heading back down here to have your troops surrounded this whole fucking tent.
William Luke Valerie, 7 to 10 years in the federal penitentiary or Punishment Park. So recorded. Nancy Jane Smith, 7 years in the federal penitentiary or Punishment Park.
Punishment Park.
So recorded. James Arthur Kohler, 5 to 7 years in federal penitentiary or Punishment Park. Take Punishment Park. So recorded. Mary Ellen Mitchner, 7 to 10 years in the penitentiary or Punishment Park. So recorded. Charles Robbins with a nod. Do you want life imprisonment or shake your head, Punishment Park?
How can he talk?
Shake your head.
Give the man the dignity of answering, huh? You're gonna kill him, you fucking idiot.
Mr. Chairman, you make me
Clear the court. Clear the court. We have already made the sentences.
I feel so ashamed.
Nobody's touching our flag.
They were
They
just
started-
surrendering peaceably.
They started it.
My Christ, I've heard about the American police.
Well, I'm glad you got to see it. Go ahead, tell all your friends about it.
They
Send them
started it.
postcards. But send them postcards from England, because I'm
This
tired
is
of
going
listening to
on
you.
European television, mate.
I don't give a
This is
good
going to
goddamn
Britain
where it goes.
And France and Germany. What
Remind
are
all
you
you
bloody barbarians?
Remind you bloody European bastards of all the goddamn American soldiers that are dead in your goddamn country when you're talking about it.
10 minutes later.
You why did you do that?
Because the goddamn world deserved it.
Why did they?
They killed
deserve
two
it?
officers. They killed two officers, and that wasn't part of the
Stand
goddamn
back, stand
game.
back. Don't you come near us. Don't you goddamn come
You've
near
been
us.
bugging us ever since we've been here.
Don't
And
you
we're just
goddamn
doing our
come near
job
us.
today, and I'm tired of you hassling us.
You tell us why you did what you did.
Practically the same reason he did. Because they had it coming to them. They had a chance to stop. Did they stop? I'm asking you, did they stop?
Because they rushed us.
Well, that's not a reason, man. That's not a reason.
If they wouldn't have rushed us if you hadn't been there trying. Oh, shit.
Come on, you were the one that started this.
I started it.
Come on, don't jump.
I told the man to stop. The captain told the man to stop. That's all there is to it. He
You
didn't
could have
stop.
just let them
He
go
attacked
straight
me.
through you.
I don't care what the fuck you
You
think. How's
don't
that sound?
care?
Don't even argue that son of
I
a
don't
bitch.
care what the hell you think. You can do what your
Come on.
newsreels, whatever you want.
What sort of
I don't
explanation have
care.
you got for this? This is the second night this has happened.
To you, none.
You could have... Look, man, you could have let those 4 people just come straight the way through here.
Had those 4 people wanted to do that, they could have done that. You've got to remember that we are dealing with criminals. These are people who have killed 2 of my men.
As it so happens, these poor people have not hurt a goddamn fly on the entire desert.
You think we'd let them reach that flag? You think they deserve that flag?
They happen to belong to this country as much as you do.
They want to tear that.
They care about this country as much as you do.
Well, what the hell are they doing out here, huh? To tear that flag down.
They gave up their right to the
You
protection
tell
and
us what
freedom of
they're
this
doing
country
out
when
here.
they started breaking this country's laws.
They're out here.
They're out here.
That's what we're here for, to enforce those laws of this country. That's what we're here. That's what we do, and we do a goddamn good job of it. You're trying to make out like a big goddamn humanitarian. The only thing that you want is so you can sell this to your goddamn network and put money in your pocket.
I don't see you putting any band-aids on anybody, helping anybody out. All you want is some money for this program. Give it to me, shit.
You could have opened your ranks. You could have opened your ranks and let them go through. No. This happened in Chicago. It happened in Los Angeles.
Hey, buddy, were you at Chicago?
It'll happen again as long as we've got this type of element to deal with.
Get the defendants out of here.
You see what your great land is all about, right? You saw it, right?
No, we haven't cheated.
You've cheated?
We have not cheated.
You never intended to let these people finish the course from the beginning.
You're full of shit.
You've had radios.
You have your
You've
opinion.
Obviously been under control the whole time.
You have your opinion. There is nothing that I can say that will change it, and I don't think it's worth my valuable time to talk to you.
These sons of bitches have the pay. That's bullshit.
All right, well, we'll cut. We've had enough of this.
48th Emergency Internal Security Tribunal of the Southwestern Region, as authorized by Executive Order Number 302, William C. Holger, Chairman, presiding, is hereby concluded.
What have they done to her head?
Only bashed her about the jaw.
Since the completion of this film, one of the members of its cast, appearing as defendant Charles Robbins, has been indicted on a charge of conspiracy to bomb. The sentence on this charge has not yet been determined. For a second charge of assault on a police officer, this cast member has been sentenced to 3 years in a federal prison.